experience?
No.
It was so fast, you know what I mean?
I got mugged.
One of the perils of being a successful poker player is the unwanted attention of people wanting a share of the cash, and I'm not talking about winning it fairly. You can check out my previous video if you haven't already. Link is in the description. In this video, we look at 7 more instances when poker players were shockingly robbed. Number 1. In 2010, the PokerStars EPT Berlin came to an abrupt halt in the action at around 2:30 p.m. when a group of armed men raided the Grand Hyatt Hotel in Berlin where the tournament was being held. The men were after the money and no one was seriously injured in the accident. Tables were flipped so people could hunker behind them while chips flew all over the floor. Players, staff, and media in the ballroom took cover and then began frantically making their way to the back corner of the room to an exit. After about 15 minutes of mayhem in the tournament area, things began to settle down while the tournament room itself looked as though a tornado had whipped through it. Hundreds of players, staff, and media were scattered in the lobby of the hotel and outside on the streets awaiting confirmation that things were safe. A few people had some minor bumps and bruises from the stampede that tried to exit the room, but no one was seriously injured. The thieves got away with 242,000 euros. It was an easy target for the bandits because the organizers did not pay attention to adequately protect the money which was on display in the lobby. No shots were fired and the suspects quickly fled after a security guard intervened. After the terror on the scene settled, players were asked to continue play only a few hours later, including the 20 remaining players in the EPT Berlin main event. The tournament was eventually won by Kevin McPhee. Shortly after the robbery, the German police released photos of the bandits, which was obtained from the hotel's video footage. In the following days, one of the robbers gave himself up and named the others. After this, the other robbers eventually gave themselves up too. Upon being questioned about the robbery, the robbers eventually named the mastermind behind the whole operation. The mastermind behind this operation was Ibrahim Al-Musa, who was arrested soon after. Ibrahim was sentenced to 6 years 4 months for armed robbery. Ibrahim's lawyers stated that it was the biggest mistake in the defendant's life and he regretted his actions since and also repaid 22,000 euros since the robbery. The rest of the money has still not yet been found. Number 2. Our next story is pretty insane because the odds of that happening are slim to none. On November 30th, 2013, the New York Post reported that poker player Eric Riley was robbed not once, but twice in what seemed like a routine trip to the airport. According to the report, Riley was being given a ride to JFK International Airport in New York from a friend named Junior. When the two arrived at the airport, Riley hopped out of the car to retrieve his bag from the trunk where it was being stored during the transport. However, Junior sped away with the trunk wide open after Riley got out of the car, but before he was able to retrieve his bag, the bag that contained $100,000 in cash. Riley was quick to act and hopped in the first cab he saw, instructing the driver to quickly follow Junior's vehicle. After catching up with the car at a red light, Riley hopped out of the cab, ran to Junior's car, and grabbed his bag from the wide open trunk. It was then that things escalated, even more so for Riley. After that, a black car reportedly pulled up to the scene, 2 men inside claiming to be undercover cops and offered help to Riley in form of a ride. Riley got into the car with the 2 men only to have a gun pulled on him. The men demanded that Riley give them the bag of money, but Riley clung tightly to his belongings before leaping from the car. After gathering himself, Riley got into a second cab where he was taken to the police to report the incident. Number 3. Flying into Vegas for some high-stakes action at Bobby's room with Gus Hansen, Daniel Cates aka Jungle Man fancied a late-night snack and headed out into the Vegas streets. Jungle Man told this incident on Joey Ingram's podcast. On his way back from eating, Daniel was smacked in the face by some guys and demanded his wallet. The thief stole his wallet and ran away. Cates said that he was in his senses and did not fight them because that would have been a really stupid idea.
Nothing happened, you're okay?
I'm okay. I just got punched a few times, but I was like kind of shocked. I didn't know how to deal with it. I mean, at the time, after I kind of wish I like I don't know, yelled for help or whatever. But I just was like, oh, here, take my wallet.
Daniel seemed a bit shaken by the incident, unsure what to do at the time. Though he was fortunate, things didn't turn out worse, and contacted the police afterwards. Vegas is regularly in the top 20% of American cities when it comes to crime stats. Violent crimes around 62% higher than the national average. Just a few days after this incident, Randy Liu aka Nananako's car was also broken into. Randy Liu claimed he had little to lose and almost made a joke of the incident. Number 4. On March 15, 2019, Michael Charles Cohen entered the Bellagio with a gun at around 9:45 p.m. and demanded cash from the cashier's cage located by the poker room. After making off with a reported $35,000, Cohen made his way to the nearby valet exit, at which point he attempted to steal a couple of vehicles but was unsuccessful. In a stroke of good fortune, there was a heavy police presence in the area because a 12-year-old girl had been reported missing nearby. At the valet, officers caught up with Cohen, who then opened fire after the officers demanded he surrender himself. One officer was struck in the chest and another officer returned fire, striking Cohen with what proved to be a fatal blow. However, a bizarre twist to the tale, the investigators tasked with the case later on discovered that the robber who died is the same man who had successfully robbed the Bellagio back in November of 2017. The second heist would have also been a success had there not already been a heavy police presence at Bellagio at the time. The Bellagio's poker room has been a target of robberies in the past because of the access to a potential quick getaway due to a location of a secondary valet stand right off the Flamingo.
Also, I've noticed that 93% of you guys are still not subscribed to the channel, so if you're enjoying the video, a sub to the channel would be amazing.
Number 5. On October 10, 2021, Shaun Deeb took to Twitter to report that there was a break-in in his hotel room in the early parts of the morning. An intruder broke into his hotel room at the Rio around 6:30 a.m. and ran away when Deeb woke up and tried to confront him. The intruder managed to run away and disappear rather quickly. Deeb said that he immediately reported the break-in to the Rio staff and said he wanted to see if Rio security will be able to find the intruder with the CCTV footage. His post received a lot of attention on Twitter as a number of poker players also shared instances in the past where they felt the security and service at the Rio all-suit was well below par. However, there was also some reporting bias at work. The reason so many players are aware of these occurrences at the Rio is because so many of the players spend so much time on the property during the WSOP. This creates something of a feedback loop that may amplify the situation as it pertains to the Rio specifically. Till last year, the WSOP brought thousands of players over to the Rio, and all of them come with money in some form or the other. Criminals are very well aware that poker players staying at the Rio all-suit and those playing at the WSOP will have either their cards or cash on them or in their rooms. This is one of the reasons why the WSOP asks poker players to be vigilant at all times and why the Rio tends to increase security during the tournament. However, it appeared that these measures were not good enough based on the number of complaints that were coming in on Deeb's post over the security failings at the Rio. Number 6. On July 1st, 2019, professional poker player Joe Salvaggi shared his tragic and terrifying experience on Twitter, claiming that he was robbed at gunpoint outside the Rio. In an exclusive interview with 13 Action News, Salvaggi said that his attacker was dressed in camouflage as he shoved a gun in his face and ordered Salvaggi to turn over his backpack. Joe said that his backpack included the keys to his rental car as well as $8,000 in cash and chips that he had won playing poker at the WSOP. He stated on Twitter that he believed that the robbery was pre-planned and that police have the theft on surveillance video. However, it appeared they may not be able to track the thief. The social media reaction to Salvaggi's misfortune had been mixed. While many have been sympathetic to Joe's plight, others felt that some of the blame has to be taken by the poker player since he was carrying cash. Defending himself, Joe said,
As a cash game grinder, as we call it in our industry, we just have to have cash on hand at all times, or else, we can't play.
Many have also blamed the Rio and WSOP for not providing adequate security in the parking lots. Although terrifying, this tragedy should serve as a lesson for all the players in the desert city, especially those who are competing in the WSOP. According to the advice given by security experts, people should gamble with a friend by their side, players should be wary of overly friendly people, and that they should always be aware of their surroundings. Number 7. On May 2018, longtime poker pro Tapio Vihakas posted on the 2+2 forum about an incident at the Party Poker Live Millions in Barcelona. Tapio was staying in Hotel Ars during the tournament. He claimed that he had 4,700 euros in his laptop bag. While he was out with his wife, housekeeping cleaned the room. Next morning, as he was about to transfer money from his laptop bag to his wallet, he noticed 2,000 euros were missing. Upon calling the reception and the manager about the incident, the manager gave a generic reply that they trust their employees 100% and that the theft was not committed by their staff. Then Tapio made a rating on TripAdvisor where he told that the hotel staff stole from him. The hotel gave an email address to contact, where he got contacted by a lawyer threatening to sue Tapio if he continued to trash talk about their clients, Hotel Arts. This is not the first time poker players experience shady activity in the hotel while playing in Barcelona. Back in 2013, high-stakes PLO pro Jens Kjolin got his laptop hacked in the same hotel. Even though most forum members agreed with Tapio, some were criticizing him for staying in a hotel with such a bad reputation and being irresponsible to keep large sums of cash in a hotel room.